If you're a strategist or a creative, you probably know the feeling of being handed a brief and going like, I wish there was something that could get me started here in more interesting directions than would naturally pop into my head. If you know that feeling, then I built a little tool for you that hopefully will make sure that you never get that feeling again. It's called Briefbuster because it helps you bust any brief that you get open and start getting interesting things. It's not meant to replace your mind, it's meant to fertilize your mind. And not only yours, but also you and your colleagues together. So let me show you how it works. First of all, obviously we need to sign in. You get a little code in the mail. And you paste it in. And here we go. This is the main interface, and it starts where you basically need to give it a brief. You could attach the brief as a PDF or Word or whatever it is, but you can also just type it in. So I'm going to type in a brief now and say, want to help young creative people get noticed by all independent agencies and get hired. We could choose over here what it is that we're trying to create, the medium, right? So it could be a poster or a 30-second ad or whatever, but right now I'm going to go with anything. And I'm clicking Bust It. So what's happening now is a little AI behind the scenes is looking at the brief that you gave it and categorizes it and extracts the anatomy of the brief, right? So the category that we're working on, the product, the audience and all of that. And you can change that if it didn't get that right. So it extracted it and it put the brief over here on the right, which is the canvas area where you combine stuff. And here we're right now creating anything. So I'm going to move this a little bit to give space. Okay, so what's on the left? On the left is sort of the core of the product, which is it found some potentially interesting cards for you to play with. The whole product is built on the idea that creativity is combinatorial, right? You need interesting inputs and you combine them in interesting ways to get some new and novel, interesting output. What are the cards? We have about 15,000 cards and counting. We have more being added every day. And they're from different categories. So the easiest way for you to look at the categories is to look at them over here. Judo sauce is, we've analyzed a whole bunch of award-winning campaigns and sort of different things that could have reusable creative mechanisms in there, like make something larger than life or try to look at it from a perspective of sort of the least likely customer, things like that. And so we've extracted that into thousands of reusable moves. So I like this a lot. I'm gonna get a little more of that. Precious metals is basically the award-winning campaigns, and so you get all of them, including the briefs and the results, all the way back to the 1960s. So that's quite fun. Fact flowers is sometimes it's a strange sort of fact that inspires you to look at it from a different perspective, and it comes from pop science. It comes from understanding the world and just finding staggering, interesting statistics that could help you reframe the brief. Blind spots is all the cognitive biases written down. Trend shrooms is we have our own trend scraping going on across 30 different categories. Both commercial ones and like lifestyle, dating, gaming, all of that stuff. Every single day there are new cards being added over here by our trend categorizing machine. And so that's kind of quite useful, but I don't want that right now. And then Wonder Weeds are these sort of questions that just help you think differently about this. So I'm gonna stay with this mix for now and use it for this search. But before that, let's just look at what we got. So the working process is basically you look at some cards and you go, oh, okay, an aspiring creative gets everything they ask for tomorrow all at once. What is the horror, right? So that's an example of a question card, which actually is interesting. Like what does success look like? I'm going to put that over on the canvas and make it yellow. So these are all the different cards. This is a trend that was scraped relatively recently. It was an interesting Korean thing that is going on about how young people sort of do things. I have no idea what this is, but this could be something to look at. You can pin it onto the canvas, so it appeared over here. But what you can also do is you can click this little dice, and it will try to immediately apply this thing to your brief. Right, so it came up in this case was an outdoor idea, which tries to do that, and you can re-roll as many times as you want. Maybe you don't like it. So that's kind of the machinery of looking through the things and finding what inspires you. You can also click Explore Wider, which sort of widens the lens of the search. The LLM then reformulates the request a little bit and widens the lens. You could go here and say, let's look more into gaming and hiring. Click Busted. You could change the mix, and all of a sudden we have this is an interesting campaign from 2022, which could help us out. So I'm going to drop that in. Maybe that's interesting. Resize that a little bit. This is a move example, like let players self-segment through the game choices. Potentially that could be helpful for us. Anyway, you get the idea. You sort of drop in what you think is interesting. You can also, by the way, drop in your own work, any sort of piece of text that you can copy paste. It will drop on the canvas easily. You can resize your areas, so that's all fine, right? And now on the canvas, the fun part starts. So let's say you dropped a bunch of stuff here. You dropped your own images and links and photos and whatever it is that you want. Now you have this kind of canvas to work with. What do you do? So first of all, obviously that just becomes your working space, and it's not a single user working space. Here you collaborate with your friends and colleagues. So you click the share button. You share this to the workspace, the people that you add, your colleagues. You can also create a public link, but that's not for collaboration. That's just for showing it to somebody for comments. So now it's shared to the workspace, and I can log in now using my mobile with another account, and I can go into the space. And as you can see over here, even though I'm on a completely different device and a different network, the second me appeared, which is Paul. That's my alter ego. And so now Paul can go ahead and do the exploring as well. Now, the interesting thing is the explore part over here, that's private. So everybody is doing their own exploring, but the canvas is collaborative. So if Paul did his own exploration and then decided to pin something on the canvas like I did, all of a sudden it appeared here, and that's collaborative, right? So everything is mobile friendly. You can do this on the phone, or you can do this on the computer. Either way is fine. Now this is where the fun part starts. So you drop the cards in, and then or in parallel you can start working with it. So you can put in, obviously, post-it notes and say, what if it was only on Insta, whatever it could be. So that's fine. And then we have a bunch of fun stickers that we could put in, which sort of helps with discussion. So you and your team could say, drop in this icon, and I'm going to be dropping it in red for the stuff that you think is good, right? So that sort of becomes your board for ideation as you go through the process of a pitch or whatever it is that you're working on. But the coolest thing that I love the most to use is this hex. Hex is the idea that creativity is combinatorial. And so right now it's an empty thing. You drop in a hex and it doesn't say anything. But the way you get ideas out of a hex is you start connecting it to different things. So it already knows the brief. You don't need to connect it to the brief. But I'm going to connect it to this post-it note. And all of a sudden it comes up with an idea related to this question. I can connect it to up to 6 nodes, and the cool part is every time you move it recomputes unless you lock it. So let's say I want less influence from this card and more influence from this card, so I'm just going to move it closer to here, and the idea recomputes to be closer to that, right? So this is kind of how you move in this ideation space, and when you find something good, you obviously lock it so it doesn't do, so you can move it, and you can drop in as many hexes as you need and ideate. Now, if you decide that, you know what, I'm going to focus on, let's say, a film. Now, every time I recompute a hex, it becomes a film, right? So it knows what it is that we're trying to create. And if I edit a brief or add a document to the brief again, it will always sort of stay in sync when you recompute or when you do a what if on a card. So every card, obviously, you can go into, you can look at it, you can watch the campaign that inspired it, read the thing, and that's kind of how you move around and build your thing collaboratively with your friends. And then once you're ready to go into the brainstorming room, or maybe to do a little bit of a review, you just hit present, and you can walk around this canvas quite easily, talk about the brief, talk about your strategic thoughts, look at the references. If you developed some work separately, and have, let's say, a key visual that you drew using Canva or whatever tools you were using, you would just drop that in. So this becomes then a tool both for ideation and for review. And the cool thing is that if you drop in, let's say, an image or a piece of writing, AI will ingest that, and you can start connecting your hexes to the things that came from elsewhere that you just dropped in. So all of that works. That's kind of the heart of Briefbuster. Again, it's meant not to come up with ideas for you, but instead to kind of tickle your brain, fertilize your brain with interesting inputs so that you get to some more interesting outputs. And the job of Briefbuster is done once you get the aha moment, right? It doesn't try to like produce the thing. No, that's your craft. It just tries to get you to an interesting place. So that's Briefbuster. A couple of more things that I think are important to mention. First one is that I'm the owner of this workspace. Move38 is my company, so I can go into the settings, invite my people. But the important thing is I can change the default card mix so that every new session starts there. So this goes into how do I sort of customize Briefbuster for my workflow, for my style of thinking, for my agency. So first you change the card mix, and that will be the default starter for every single brief that anybody in your workspace works on. The second thing is we have this idea of signature decks, right? So we talked about the sort of the factory decks, such as the fact flowers with all the interesting facts and judo moves and all of that. But you probably have your own favorite, moves and ideas and things to reference. So you can build your own custom decks of cards. I'm gonna call this, George's favorite moves. I'm gonna make it orange. And so now there is a slide deck. I can just import a CSV file with the sort of the headline, the description, potentially the link, potentially the image of the thing, and it will instantly get populated with your own moves and your own cards. And then once I have that, then when I go to the card mix, now it's going to be part of the mix. So I could completely change Briefbuster to basically only use my own moves if I wanted to. So that's the signature decks. And then there's also the ideation style, because for those what ifs and for those hexes, there is a way that we prompted the system, but you may want to do it differently. And so here you can write your own prompt so that the ideation for the hexes and the what ifs is going to use your creative methodology, your way of thinking, which is going to be helpful. So these are all the ways that you can customize Briefbuster for your workflow, for your agency, for your style. And then the last thing I want to show you is that we built Briefbuster from the beginning with the idea of agents in mind, potentially using it not just humans. So if you're slightly more advanced and want to sort of co-create with your Claude or your agent of choice, you can go to this account place, generate a new API key, which is going to identify for your account, and then you can use either the API if you're a coder to sort of connect to all of this, or you can just connect your Claude with the MCP, and then Claude will be able to do everything that you can do that I just showed you. Start new briefs, go to more explorations, pin cards, render the canvas. All of the things that a human can do, the agent can pretty much do. So that's kind of fun, because you can you can just get your Claude, if you're into that kind of thing, to go and ideate the first version for you, or the first 3 versions for you, and then you just go and look at those canvases instead of populating them yourself. Even though I think the process of population and discovery is helpful for creativity, but the option is there for you if you want it. That's kind of that. Really, that's Briefbuster. The last cool little thing, because for a lot of you, some of the value is, yes, in the historical work and the timeless moves, but also in the recent trends. So there is this little mushroom on the right hand side, which just takes you to the trend rooms page, where you can basically just work with the trend cards and just look through the trends. As I mentioned, they're refreshed every single day, and so this is some of the recent stuff that came out, but you can search everything from across the last couple of months. So let's say World Cup, and boom, you have a whole lot of stuff that came up during the World Cup. Baby girl, yes, that could be fun. You get the receipts, and then you get little provocations that you could use. So this was harvested, as you can see, on the 13th of July. So that's the trends, and they're also available via the API. So if you just need that, that's also an option. That's Briefbuster. I hope you enjoy fertilizing your mind and working on those things with a little help. Like I said, I tried to design the tool that is using a little bit of AI, but really not to replace your mind, but to fertilize it. Have a play and tell me what you think. I hope you will find this useful. Have fun.